These incredible taonga from New Zealand, they're caught up in the theatre of war and they managed to survive. I thought I'll go looking for these taonga Māori. I can't believe I'm actually looking at it after 8 years. I'm descended from Rangihawa through my great-grandmother's great-grandfather, Te Pahi, and I've always been really interested in looking for taonga that might have been from our region because there really isn't anything identified from Rangihawa. So I started looking for the taonga that was sent offshore by the Church Mission Society, which established a mission there in 1814. And you could see from their records that they were regularly sending taonga to the Church Missionary Society in London and specifically for their museum. So I thought, well, I'll go looking for these CMS collections. I was able to establish that they had been at one point collected by William Oldman, and then looked back at his catalogues and then noticed that one of them had a Roman numeral on it. And I thought, well, this is very unusual. Then took the step of writing to museums to ask if their taonga Māori had Roman numerals on them. That was quite bold because I can imagine a museum curator receiving a message from somebody in Aotearoa, New Zealand, talking about Roman numerals, disgraced missionaries, lost carvings. Could seem very far-fetched. They looked and they would say, yes, you know, they do have these Roman numerals on them, which then linked them back to 1823, Bay of Islands. It was incredible because they all started falling into place, and some of them had been sold on to museums, and at least one was in Switzerland and at least 2 or 3 were in Berlin. Well, I'd known about this incredible kōrupe for some time through doing that research, but couldn't work out quite where it was. One day I came across a picture of one that was identical, and it said it was in Canterbury Museum, and I thought, well, what has happened here?
When the request came in from Deidre, we had a look in our basement in the old museum, but that space was very cramped. It was dark and it was crowded, so it was quite difficult to locate. It was only when we'd moved the whole collection out of Rolleston Ave for our redevelopment that we managed to then locate the pare. It was in a temporary storage space and it had been wrapped up in black plastic. So the main thing that I did is I had measurements from our database and I compared those measurements to a whole bunch of carvings that had been wrapped up to protect for the move. When I found one that was the right size, of course it was potentially contaminated with lead dust, so we had to be very careful when unwrapping it to look for our catalogue numbers and for the Roman numeral. And then we unwrapped it and we saw the Roman numeral, and that's when we knew that we'd found the pare.
Through some incredible work that Canterbury Museum undertook, managed to locate it, turn it over. There's a Roman numeral 8, but the V is tucked under a brace and you can only just see the 3 eyes next to it. And it's like, yes, this is it. I'm so pleased to see that number. This particular taonga Māori has gone to the UK, it's gone to London. We know that William Oldman stayed with his collection in London, and his house was narrowly missed by a bomb, so a German bomb. So these incredible taonga from New Zealand, you know, they're caught up in the theatre of war, World War II, on different sides of this, and they managed to survive. Can't believe I'm actually looking at it after 8 years. This one coming back, there's a story that all taonga that are gifted will eventually find their way back, and they accumulate stories and mana through those journeys.